Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome. It is June 9th. It's Monday, and I have some great news to share with you. One of the things that I had on my acrostic for the Daily 30 group, because the needle felt acrostic had so many E's in it, is a new start for me. That was the Noel in blue, because it's in French, and the N between the word Noel and blue is actually spelled E-N, and so I could use it because it was in the title. And I had to get 300 stitches in it because it was the Daily 30 acrostic. And I thought, well, okay, I need to do that. So I started it. I started it yesterday, and I started working on it just a little bit. I probably got around 190 stitches in it yesterday, and then put it away, waiting for today. And as luck would have it, my call for today's stitching on my bingo was my most recent new start. And I just started it yesterday. So that became Noel in blue, which is wonderful because I wanted to get a total of 300 stitches in it. So I went ahead today and I kept working on it and kept working on it, and I put in 431 stitches today, all total. So that was from yesterday and today. But since I only had 190 when I stopped yesterday, and I have 431 today, I know I've stitched well over the 100 stitches that I need for my bingo, and I can post it in there. But here it is. It's that little sweater that's going to be the log cabin. So I'll show you. It's this one right here. Isn't that precious? So there you go. I've got to start on it. I'm excited about that. I think that's enough to meet the prompts. And so I am going to put it away because on my Great British Bake Off stitching, I still need to do two things. I need to stitch on Colorful Cats for 50 stitches for the last and technical. And I need to stitch on my Let Love Rain for Mac, who got sent home. And that's 75 stitches. But Let Love Rain is one of the ones I believe that I used for my Daily 30. In fact, I know it is for the L. And so I need 300 stitches in it. So I'll go ahead and do the 300, and that'll meet both requirements. And at some point today, if I get time, I'll finish up with the few stitches on Colorful Cats that I need to do, because I don't believe I used Colorful Cats in any of my acrostics this month because I knew that she was in my British baking competition. So there you have it. So there's my sweaters. It's the last one of these four. So isn't that cute? So now I've got that started. I can get working on it, and I will be able to have all four of them done before long. And I believe that my Noel in blue, if I'm not mistaken, let me look. No, it's not one of my, I didn't put it on my Great British Bake Off, so I don't have to worry about that. I'll just be pulling it out when I want to stitch on it, and that'll be great. So if you've seen my latest video that I just put up this morning, you will know that I finished Royal Games 2. And that is a companion piece to the Royal Games 1 that I had stitched, last year or the year before. And I knew that I wanted to wait and frame them as a set, a pair. And I went to Hobby Lobby Saturday, met with my friend Mindy, and I was able to find 2 off-the-shelf frames, and they only had 2, so it was meant to be. And they're matte black, and they're just lovely. Now, they had a very ornate, fancy frame the same size that I almost put with this, but they only had 1. I didn't want to have to wait for them to order another one. And I really felt like if the frame was too ornate, it was going to take away from the picture. And I just really want the pictures and the fabric to shine. So I asked Mindy if she would pop those in for me. And she added in the spacers and the glass. And I have them back already. She will pin these things and pop them right in, and called me Saturday night. That's unusual. She just didn't have anything else she had to work on. And but she was able to get both of these ready for me, and I couldn't get there before she was leaving on Saturday, and I really wanted to be there, so thank her for doing it. So I waited till this morning, and I went and I got them both. So here are my Royal Games. This is Royal Games 2, and here's Royal Games 1. And there you see them as a pair. I think they look tremendous. And one of the things that I talked to Mindy about that she did for me when she framed these two is she put hangers on both ends, which means I can hang it this way. And then when I want to, I can just turn it over and hang it that way. Isn't that great? I can do that she did that for me on both of them, and she went to great effort to make sure she put the hangers at the exact same spot from the ends, because she said she didn't want me to have to move my hooks. Once I got them up on the wall, she wanted me to be able to just spin the pictures and put them right where they needed to go. So there you have it. I've got Royal Games 1 and 2. There they are. I'm sorry for the glare, but I think they're absolutely beautiful. So I'm tickled pink to have those back. I'm going to take them. We have a Saturday stitch in this coming Saturday. So I'll be taking Miss Christmas Eve, and I'll be taking these two with me to share with everybody. So I'm excited about that. So I'm going to get off of here now, and I'm going to pull out my Let Love Rain, and I'm going to head toward those 300 stitches. I don't know if I'll get them all done today or when. I might have to, it may take me a day or two to get that many. It's raining today, and Coco's at the groomer. My husband has been on a long hike. I hope that he made it back to the car before it started pouring rain, but he was in the middle of the woods. So I'm on standby to pick Coco up. He's not even sure he'll be back in time to pick her up. And so I'm on standby to pick her up. And of course it would be that I need to go out and pick her up in the rain. The one time he asked me to pick her up, it'll be raining. But you know what? It's okay. I won't melt. And I'm looking forward to seeing her. I asked him to do another shortcut for the summer because she just gets so hot. And when she's walking with her dad, she doesn't want to walk very far. She gets overheated very easily right now. So speaking of being overheated, we had a bad thunderstorm this week. We lost power. We lost power here about 8 p.m. We didn't get it back till 5:30 a.m. And it was hot, and here we were trying to sleep. So my husband opened the windows in our bedroom because there are screens over them. And we knew the bugs wouldn't be coming in, but he opened the 2 windows and hopefully getting a little breeze across our bed, so we could sleep. But Coco wasn't used to that at all. And we'd never opened those windows like that before. So she sat on the foot of the bed all night long. She sat up guarding us, looking at those windows. And if she heard anything out there, she would just very softly, almost like a warning, like, don't you come in here. When the power came back on at 5:30, it woke my husband up. And so he got up and closed the windows because the air was coming back on. And that's when she laid down to go to sleep. And she napped quite a bit during the day. But that little puppy sat up, straight up on that bed at my husband's feet because he was the one closest to the windows. She wouldn't move. She wouldn't lay down. She wouldn't be dissuaded. So that was it. She was guarding. I've laughed and teased with Donna about Harley doing that when we travel, because whichever bed is closest to the door, doesn't matter which one of us is in that bed, he lays on that bed or sits up on that bed, and he watches the door. He guards it all night long. And you can try to get him to lay down and sleep with you. He'll cuddle with you for a minute, and then he goes right back and watches that door. At least the first night. And then when he realizes nobody's coming in, then he's okay. Interesting thing, when they moved, the first night that Donna and Harley were in their new home, in her bedroom, he guarded her at the foot of their bed, at the door to the bedroom, because it was a new place for him. She said he probably thought they were in a hotel, So our puppies are very smart and intuitive. and very protective of their loved ones. And so, you know, think about how their little minds work and how great big their hearts are. I tell you what, just grab up your little fur baby and love on them for a minute because they're so kind and so sweet and so caring. Anyway, that's all the news so far today. If I get more stitching in today, I'll come back and share it with you. But in the meantime, happy stitching, everybody. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back. This is Dina. Today is the 10th of June, and I was stitching for a couple of things today. I had on my Great British Bake Off Challenge, I had to stitch on Let Love Rain for 75 stitches because unfortunately Mac got sent home. But I didn't stop there. I decided, because I was using Let Love Rain also for my daily 30 group, that I would put at least 300 stitches in her. And I just kept going. So today I made a goal for a small achievement rather than number of stitches, and then I counted the stitches and put them on my in my acrostic posting and for my tracking on my Great British Bake Off. So I actually wound up getting 626 stitches today, which is lovely. You can really see the difference. I started right here with this flower and I stitched the whole flower. So now that row is complete all the way across. And now when I pick this up again, I can bring the border down to here. Probably one more border here, and maybe these two would be next. And then I get to roll it up. Very excited. Oh, yay. That was good progress. Very good progress. So happy with that. I'll put that back on my stand and then put it over there. So that stays on my roller frame stand, my floor stand that my friend Melody gave me. So that not only hit my Great British Bake Off stitching and my 30-day acrostic, it also hit my bingo, because for the day today on the 10th, my bingo was Whip of Choice, which is fabulous. So I was able to stitch that anything I wanted, and so I'm just counting that Let Love Rain for my Whip of Choice, and I now marked that done. So here's how my little bingo game is looking. Remember, the colored spaces are the ones that count for the bingo, so I still have a lot more of those to do. This was the one. No, Whip of Choice. This one was the one I did today. So I still have quite a few that are required for me to hit bingo. Nowhere near it yet. But anyway, we'll wait and see what gets called for tonight. On my Great British Bake Off stitching, I'm using my little tracking sheet for that. And I have one more project to stitch on. And that is for the last in technical for Rowan, and that one is colorful cats. And so I'll do that at some point this week, hopefully before too much longer, but I have all the way till Friday till I watch for the next week. But today I am going to tackle my second Whip Go call. My Whip Go call was to stitch on a hands-on design project, and I don't have one going, so I'm going to start one. I'm very excited about having a new start, so I'm going to start this one. This is called Love My Stitching, and it's shown here both as a framed piece and on a project bag, and you guys know I love putting these things on project bags. I've really gotten into adding my cross stitch into project bags. And this one's kind of unique because I believe this one is just stitched onto the outside of the bag. It's not actually pieced into the bag. So I could do mine either way, but I'm excited. So now I got to stitch it first before I decide if that's what I'm going to do with it. And I will be starting that today. And it's called Latte. It's 32 count, Lugana. Isn't that beautiful? And so what I'll probably do is start it up here on this side and stitch it across here, and then I can cut it off and use that piece for something else. So that is the plan. Anyway, I will get started on it, and hopefully, if I get much progress on it, I'll come and I'll share it with you. But it is a whip go start, and so I have to get at least 300 stitches in it to meet my whip go goal. And if I do that, I can double dip it. I can use it in my daily 30 group for the D in the needle felt, because right now I have it as Ode to a Good Dog. But if I get this one done first, I could change it to Hands-On Design and use it for that. So I'll let you know. I'll let you know how that works out. Anyway, I'll get busy, and I hope to talk to you later. Bye-bye. Good morning, everybody. How are you? It's June 11th, and that's a Wednesday, and I am here to show you the stitching I've accomplished so far. I had a Zoom call last night, and to stitch with my friends on Zoom, I started one of my monthly requirements, which is my 6th stocking of the Beez 12 Days of Christmas. This is the little booklet, and it just so happened there was a picture in here that had the 6th one on there. And I'm tickled about it because now I've moved into the numbers that are high enough that we only have one of the objects to stitch instead of the total number of them, which is great. And I got started on it last night, and I actually stitched 304 stitches in my new start. And this is where I got to. Miss Coco's here. It's early in the morning, and she is thinking it's time for her to go on her excursion. It's not quite yet. It's not quite time. We have to wait for Esther. We have a lady coming today, and I have to let her in before we can leave. So Coco's a little anxious to go. Anyway, so this is how much I got. 304 stitches. I got the beak of the geese, the little goose. I've got his beak done. His little head goes right there, and then so the goose will go down from there. But this one's going really fast. I like it. I'm going to leave it out. I may try to finish it later today. But anyway, I have to move on to today's requirements. So today's bingo call is for my largest whip, and that's pretty specific. So I'm trying to figure out what I think that might be. And I decided by looking over at my roller frames that the largest roller frame that I have is for Shakespeare's Fairies. And I haven't stitched on that a lot. I've sort of got it started and then just kind of let it languish while I was working on finishing other things. So my requirement for bingo is 100 stitches. I've used Shakespeare's Fairies for my daily 30 acrostic, and I've used it for my 24 hours of cross stitch acrostic, but the daily 30 requires 300 stitches. However, last month, because I did all of the daily acrostics for the daily 30 group, all of that acrostic, I got a coupon, a discount coupon. So I can stitch 100 stitches on something, use my coupon, and it counts it as met for the whole 300 stitches. It's a 200 stitch discount. So I'm going to do that today because I would love to finish my British Bake Off stitching today. And in order to do that, I need to get my bingo requirement met and out of the way. So if I do Shakespeare's Fairies for my largest whip and I use my discount coupon in my daily 30 group, I can still meet that acrostic. And in the 24 hours of cross stitch acrostic, there's not a minimum. So 100 stitches is fine. And I will have that done. And then I can pick up my last piece of British Bake Off stitching, which is only 50 stitches required. And I can stitch on my colorful cats. I can do a thread. I can do 50 stitches, whatever I want to do. Then, if I like, I can go back and try to work on this stocking, because I think if I put a whole nother day in it, I might could finish it today or tomorrow, and I would love to do that. That would be great. So that's what I'm thinking of doing. I'm finding threads. I just sat down and I'm already finding threads. I think that's funny. So that's my plan for today. We shall see. It is Wednesday, so we do have choir practice tonight. So my stitching time, is cut down quite a bit, but that's okay. We'll see how it goes. Anyway, I'm going to get busy. I'm going to pull out my Shakespeare's Fairies, and I'm going to get started. Happy stitching, everybody. Hello, everyone. Welcome back. It is later on, and on the same day, on Wednesday, and I am here to give you an update on my stitching for later in the day. I did exactly what I had hoped to do. I was able to work on Shakespeare's Fairies for my 100 stitches. In fact, I put in 174 stitches. So I've met all of those goals that I told you I was looking to do. And I'm sorry, I've got a rough edge on my roller frame. I need to buff that down. Anyway, this is where I got to. So I wound up going up here, filling in some of this above here. And then I went on around and I filled in more stitches down here. I'm trying to go from the ball out, the little globe out. So I started up here and did that. Then this over here is a kind of a page break, and so that was hard to read, so I went over here instead. And I did some behind the little lantern over here. And then when I come back again, I can continue working around this and out. This is kind of how I plan on doing it. But 174 stitches, so that one has been taken care of. Then I mentioned that one of my things I would really like to do today would be to finish my ornament that I started, and I am happy to tell you that I did. So my number 6 stocking, 6 geese a-laying, has been finished. So there's my stocking ornament for the month. I've met that monthly requirement. And it's interesting because out of my monthly requirements now, I only have my stocking every month and to work on Nativity. That's all I have left of my monthly requirements. So I'll have to decide if I want to add something into that or not. Anyway, thanks for letting me share my stitching with you today. You can hear Coco barking. Her dad has just pulled up from his hike, and so she's excited and wants to go see him. So I will say goodbye and spend some time with my hubby, go to choir practice tonight, and who knows if I get any more stitching done, but if I do, I'll share it with you. In the meantime, happy stitching, everybody. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back. Today is Thursday. It's June 12th. And I have some interesting, I hope interesting information for you. I have been planning my Christmas in July stitching for next month. It's not quite the middle of June, but when I do something this large, I try to plan it well in advance so that if I need to order any supplies, I have time to do that and get them before I need them. The worst I had to do today was to go to Hobby Lobby and get some more thread. So that is fabulous. So for my Christmas in July stitching, I decided that I wanted to go through all of my stash because the largest portion of it is Christmas. And if I only do a few pieces every year, it's going to always overwhelm everything else as far as taking up space in my stash. And I would love to have these things stitched and gifted or used in my home. And so the sooner I start them, the sooner I can finish them. So I decided that I'm going to stitch on something different every day in the month of July. There are 31 days in July. I'm going to stitch on 31 different things. Now, I don't have 31 Christmas whips. I have a few Christmas whips, and you'll see those today because I interspersed them in between all my new starts. But I believe I have about 25 new starts. I haven't sat and counted them, but I'm thinking that's about where I'm at. We shall see. So I want to take a moment and show you what I'm going to be stitching in the month of July and ask if you like to do any sort of Christmas in July stitching. Please, if you have one of these patterns that I'm going to be working on, please do it with me. I am doing these in the order that I anticipate stitching on them. So on the 1st of July, I'll show you my first thing I'm going to be stitching on. I reserve the right to change that for a couple of reasons. One, it could be that depending on my schedule and what's going on in my life, one of those pieces that are scheduled for that day may be too intricate, or I may not have enough time to work on it, and I may have to flip-flop some things around. So please forgive me if that happens, but otherwise, this is my plan going in the gate anyway. So on July 1st, I want to pull out one of my current stitches because I want to work on it before I get tired in the month. This one is very intricate, as you know. It's Nativity by Teresa and I've been working on it diligently, trying to get it finished this year. So I've got these two borders to finish and the border to do here, and I've got back stitching to do. And once I finish these two borders all the way down, I can bead it and do the metallics, and I'll be finished with it. So it is doable for this year. That's still my goal. I have finished several big pieces this year, and this one is still the one that I had identified as one I want to finish this year. So that would be July 1st. And then on July 2nd, I would like to work on a new start that's an old chart. I have had this in my rotation for a new start before and changed my mind. And I think it was because I had a particular fabric that I wanted to stitch it on, and I didn't think I could make it work. But I have figured out a way to make it work. So this is Silent Night, Holy Night by Country Cottage Needleworks. And this is the beautiful stamped fabric that I want to put that piece on. I think that will be gorgeous together. That little white church in the midst of that snow. So to make it work, part of my problem was that this color in the border up here and here will just disappear on the fabric. And then I thought about it and I thought, I don't need that border. I'm just gonna do from the words to the words. So I will not have that border or that border. I'm gonna let the snowflakes on the fabric be the snowflakes. I'm not gonna stitch the snowflakes. I'll do the words, the building, and the trees, and that will be it. I'll do the snow, of course, at the bottom to anchor it. But it's fully kitted now, and it's ready to go. My plan is to position it right here. So it's about an 8 by 8 on this fabric. And I think that's gonna be gorgeous. And I've wanted to do it for so long that I'm doing it early. I'm doing it on the 2nd day of July. So there you have it. Now I don't have enough project bags that are Christmas themed, so you'll see a lot of just plain plastic bags, which is what I wind up kitting things in when I have a big collection of things that I've kitted. Okay, so on the 3rd is the first of a duo that I'm gonna do. So I'm gonna do the first one of these from Primrose Cottage. I'm gonna do the Sip and Stitch on the 3rd. And then I'm going to come back because I've kitted them together because they require the exact same floss. And rather than duplicate that, I've just gone ahead and put it in one bag. So the second one that I'm going to do in this series is the Christmas trees and stitching please. I don't know which one came out first, but I'm going to start this one right here on the 3rd, and I'm not going to start this one until the 18th. And my hope is that I might actually get to finish this before I start the other one. We'll see. But they're both in the same bag, but this one's on the 3rd, Sip and Stitch, and the trees and stitching please is on the 18th of July. I'm doing these on a remnant of fabric that's called Brittany Ivory, and I have a 13 by 11 square there and a little piece over here that won't mount to anything. But I've had this in my stash for a while. I don't remember what it was that I stitched on it, but I've done the measurements, and both of those pillows will fit on this fabric. And that will let me use up a remnant of fabric, which I think is awesome. I love it when I can do that. Makes me feel like I haven't wasted anything, you know? Okay, so then let's back up to the 4th. And this one may be controversial because I'm going to do something so different that you may not like it. And if you don't, that's okay. You can tell me you don't. If you do like it, please tell me that you do. But I love to do tone-on-tone sort of pieces when I have monochromatics. So here's what I'm going to do. This was a gift. This was gifted to me by a viewer, and he just messaged me and said, if I gave this to you, would you stitch it? And I said yes. But there are multiple patterns in here, and I really want to do this one, but I actually have a frame, a square frame, and this turns out to be a square, by the way. It's a perfect square. They just did it in a round, which is very unique. But I have a square frame, and it's beautiful. It's a silver frame. It has already got one of those little, I'm not sure what you call them. They're the metal piece that goes inside. You've got the frame, and then you've got part of like a mat, and then you've got this little metal piece that goes in there, and I can't remember what it's called. But I've already got that, and I could get this in there. So I could frame it myself or take it to Michael's and have them frame it. But instead of doing it on a gray with blue or any kind of traditional red and green and whatnot, I'm going to do something very different. I like to change up my colors for Christmas. And one of my color themes that I do about every 3 or 4 years, because I just swap through the colors, are these gorgeous jewel tones that have purple and teal and things like that in it. And I think this would make a gorgeous piece to put out when I use that color for my decor for Christmas. This is called Serenade. It's a Grace Notes fabric, and I got it from Celtic Sisters. This is, look how beautifully modeled that is. And my intention is to stitch it with this water lily hyacinth. This water lily has the purple. It has a little bit, has a dark purple, a light purple, a kind of a purpley blue, and a tiny bit of beige in it. And I just think that is going to stitch up so pretty on there. And remember, I'm doing this to go with my decor that has purples and teals and things in it for that Christmas. And I think this will just be beautiful with it. So that's the one I thought you might not like it. If you're very traditional in your colors at Christmas, you may think that's a little too out there, but I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait. So that one is going to be started on the 4th of July. Isn't that interesting? Something that's not red, white, or blue. It's going to be started. So the next one is a gift, and it's fully kitted. It was gifted to me by one of my Lake House Stitcher friends, It's called Rudolph's Reindeer Games. And everything that's needed was gifted to me. The stand, everything. All the floss, the fabric, everything. So, I think the fabric's in here. And if it's not, I'll grab a piece of fabric. But I was thinking it was in here, so I haven't put one in here. But, so, this is ready to go. And I have been wanting to start it for the last couple of years. And I've had other big pieces, so I didn't. But this year, this is coming out. So I'll be doing that. Then the next one is a whip. And it will be Santa's Workshop. I'll show you where I got to on that when you last saw it. So I'm working from the bottom up. This is complete except for beads. And then this is the next layer, and then I'll start working more on the floor, and then I'll get to the desk and the Santa and the elf and all that. And as I go up, I'll just bring the border up with me as I move along. But that'll get some work on that day, on the 6th. Then I have a little tiny project to do that's called Festive Fox. And this little thing was a freebie, I believe. It was a complimentary design from Blue Ribbon Designs. It was a 2024 piece, and I do have a picture of it. I'll cover the pattern over here. But this is what he looks like. Isn't he adorable? And I found this gorgeous remnant. It's a 32 count linen, but it's just a remnant, and I don't know the color of it, but isn't it beautiful? It's got sort of a off-white with a little bit of a gray tone to it or something, but I think the colors in here are going to look great on there, and it's just the right size, and that's another scrap that I can use. I love using up my scraps. I think that's just being frugal, and I enjoy doing it. So I got that ready. That's Festive Fox for the 7th of July. And then on the 8th, I have another pattern called Reindeer Games. And this one is by Erica Michaels. I picked this up at the Garon Stitchery Retreat last year. And it's like a game board, but it's, you know, it's got the, like a crossword puzzle. I think it's really cute. And the colors are very traditional, Christmassy colors, red, greens, 2 or 3 colors of green. But I decided that I wanted the background to be honey. So this is the color that I'm going to do the board on. And I put the floss on it, and it looks great. It really does, I think, look very nice. And it's very close to me, to what the picture shows. This is probably a little more neutral that that you see all the time. And this is probably a little more yellowy, honeyish, but I like it. I like the color of it. And I wanted to use one of my new fabrics. So that is the Reindeer Games by Erica Michaels, and that's on the 8th of July. So then we get to Woodland Wonder. Now this is one I recently got in a gift from an estate, and I was tickled to death with it because all of the beads and specialty fibers came with it. I just needed to kit it up with fabric and the floss. So I did that, and the fabric that I chose is a Picture This Plus fabric called Fawn. And I think this is going to be beautiful. And it certainly won't take all of it. I'll have a big piece of it left over, I'm sure. But I loved the modeling of it. This one appears to be quite modeled, as you can see. It has a redder tint to my eye. has a red tint. Mine has a green tint. So I think it's going to look really, really good with these green fibers and the green beads. There are 2 different colors of green beads in here. It's a Glendon place, so it'll be sparkly, you know. Has both Krynic and beads. But that is called Woodland Wonder. And that one is going to be on the 9th. So for the 10th, I pulled out another one that I've been wanting to do for several years. I keep pulling it out, I keep looking at it, and something else will get in front of it. And this time I just said, I'm going to do it. So this is a Kind and Gentle. I couldn't remember which came first. Kind and Gentle. It's a 2021 pattern, and I've probably been looking at doing it since then. But I finally decided this is the year. And I have chosen an interesting fabric. This is an Aida. It's an 18 count Aida. And it is Stormy Clouds by Swigert. I think it's going to look fabulous on there. This is on kind of a gray linen, but I think this is going to look so fun with these colors. So, and that gives me something that I'm stitching on Aida. I don't stitch on Aida as often as I used to, and I think that'll be kind of fun to have an Aida piece to work on. Okay, so the next one I have is Skating Reindeer. I have 4 of these. There are 4 in the set. This one is Randolph, and there's also a Rupert, a Raymond, and a Richmond. And I have all 4 of them. I bought them at the Silver Needle when we went there for retreat. And I want to do all 4, but I'm not going to start them all 4 at the same time. They are very stitch heavy, and they have a lot of beads. So I'm going to start one, and then after I finish it, I can pull in another one. Not this month, not July, but anyway. So that one's going to be on the 11th. And then on the 12th, I'm going to be doing a hands-on design. Big surprise, huh? You'll see several of those in here. This one is the tree lot. I'm going to pick one and do one. Eventually, I would like to do all 3, but I'm going to start with 1 this year. And I had another piece of that dusk by Picture This Plus. Hers are on black, but I'm going to do mine on dusk, like I'm doing the ornaments right now for the 12 Days of Christmas ornaments. And I'm doing them in sulky. So I have put together my sulky pack. Let me get this thread out of the way so it doesn't get caught in the zipper, which it has been caught in the zipper now. But so I pull the colors. Interestingly enough, Kathy Haberman had designed something last year or the year before where she had a Christmas pack of sulky that you could order to go with her design, her pattern, and it was all the colors that you needed for that design. And so today when I was looking at kitting things up and I looked at this one, I thought, I wonder if that Christmas pack of sulky would have colors that would translate well in here. And I am very happy to tell you that every single one of those colors I can make work for one of these. And I only had to go pull one more color. I needed an onion skin. And so having no idea what that should be, I just looked at what I thought looked like onion skin. And I came up with $11.49. So these are my colors. They're so pretty. And I have them in this little zipper pouch that goes with this. So now this is fully kitted. Only thing I have to do is pick out which tree I want to start on when the day comes, you know, on the 12th. I can decide which one I want to do. So that one's ready. And the next one after that will be a series that you've been seeing a lot, and that is my 12 Days of Christmas. And this one will be number 7. This is what the book looks like. And I don't know if there's a picture of number. There is, but then, you know, the pattern is right there too. So let me see on my working copy if I can cover it up enough for you to enjoy seeing what it's going to look like. Pardon the crinkle there. But this is what number 7 will look like. 7 swans swimming. I'm glad that I'm up into the larger numbers now where I only have to stitch one of each thing. That happened after 5 gold rings. And I will tell you, I just finished the 6 Geese laying this week, and it went fast. It went faster than any I've stitched before. So that was great. That was encouraging. So that's for the 13th. Now, pardon me for reaching, but I have to keep them over here so that I don't wiggle the table every time I move. This is another very interesting piece that you may or may not like. My choice of fabric. But this is a Teresa Kogut. You know, I love her stuff. And this is called Deck the Halls. Now, this picture makes it look like there's a lot of red in it. But when I pulled the floss, I was very surprised. It's not red. It's kind of a rusty color. Rusty oranges. And for instance, this is one of them. Matches my shirt. And this is one of them. These are not red. And this is the darker color. It's brown, kind of a red brown. But this is the color palette. If you can see. Kind of a rusty oranges and greens. So when I was looking for the right fabric, I found this piece, and it's actually called Garden Party by Bestitch Me. And this is what it looks like. It's got greens and kind of an orangey color. And I laid the floss on here, and it's gorgeous together. So I'm going to use this for Deck the Halls. And again, it's not a traditional Christmas color, but I really like it. I think it's very different. I just think it would be fun, you know, to use that in a different room, because I can do one color in one room and decorate another color in another room. They don't have to all match, you know. But so for December 14th, I'll be starting Deck the Halls. And yes, I have already considered the fact that it might make an interesting Christmas bag that would have interesting colors in it other than what, you know, I have right now. Okay, so that's the first bin of Christmas in July stitching. So I'm going to move it to the side and get the second one. Watch out, might hit the table. Okay. So the next one is another hands-on design, and it's called Here Are the Bels. I've had this one a while too, and I've been wanting to work on it. And it is another one I'm doing kind of different. But again, it's on the 15th, and if you have it, you may want to pull it out and stitch it with me. But this is Here Are the Bels, and she's charted it for both a pillow or a long piece of it. And I have decided I'm going to do mine as a long piece, and mainly because I have a beautiful piece of fabric that's long and narrow, and that it would fit perfectly to do it that way. I mean, the pillow might fit on there too, but I just think it'd be great fun. I'm looking for the picture for you. Okay, notice again, jewel tones. The blues and purples and things of that nature. So that's what the threads look like, and teals. So I've pulled out a mystery linen. This is a remnant that I got. It's 30 count linen, and it's a beautiful lilac color. And these purple and teals, they just, and the silver looks gorgeous on here. And so that's my plan on what I'm gonna stitch, the color I'm gonna stitch that on. All right, so then the next one's gonna be a real challenge. It's probably gonna take the place of Nativity when I finish Nativity. I may start it and not put it into my rotation until I finish Nativity, because it is a Stony Creek, and you know that Stony Creek is full of backstitching and blends and things like that, just like a Teresa Winsler. They can be intimidating. So I want to do the 3 Wise Men by the manger. And you notice they have it on black. I'm not doing mine on black. I want mine to look like a beautiful, beautiful lit up night sky. And so I have this gorgeous piece of Congress cloth, which means it's 24 count, from Silk Weaver. And it is, and you can see it, see the sparkles? It's this beautiful blue with the sparkles. And you see the night sky? I'm gonna put those lighter blotches up at the top above so that it looks like it could be the heavenly host up there singing or whatever. But that is my plan. It's a solo die, sorry. I got it at Silk Weaver when I was there shopping. When I went to meet my friend for the first time, Lori from Once Upon a Stitch. That's how we met. And she took me shopping there, and that's when I got it. So, okay, let me find where I'm at in this packet. Okay. Now, that's called the Wise Men, in case you were wondering. The next one I'm going to do is one of 4 that I'm going to do. So I'm going to show it to you and the fabric, and then I'm going to just tell you the dates that I'm going to be working on them. This is such a cutie. This is a Doreen Jones pattern, and I did it, bought it online, downloaded it, printed it off, and I just think they are precious. And they're only about 3 by 3, 3.5 by 3.5, something like that. They're very small. So I'm going to start the one at the letter box on the 17th of July. And then on the 21st of July, I'll start on the Christmas tree one. And then on the 26th of July, I will start on the one with the presents. And on the 30th of July, I'm going to start on the one with the carolers. So by the end of July, I'll have at least a start on all 4. And I have them, because it's one pattern, I have it in here. And of course, I've kitted it with the floss, and I don't need to kit 4 times. Y'all would not expect me to do that. And I have another remnant. This is parchment from Atomic Ranch. And I have a big remnant of it. And I've done the calculations. I've measured it twice. And I can get 1, 2, 3, 4 without any trouble. So I get to use up another remnant. I'm excited. And I think the parchment is going to look great. I thought about, you know, what if I wanted a light blue? Or what if I wanted a light pink? But if you look, the background stitches, the snow is shaded in light blue, and they use light blue around it quite a lot. And when they don't use the light blue, they're using the light pink. Now, I probably could have left those background stitches out and just used that color fabric, but I kind of like the fact that there's a blank background and the picture just kind of jumps off the page. So I'm trying to duplicate that by using a very light colored fabric, and I think this parchment is great. It's going to do really well. I think it's going to look good with it. All right, so again, those dates are the 17th, the 21st, the 26th, and the 30th that I'll be working on those. Sorry, I forgot and stitched that up and closed it up. My apologies. Okay. So after I do that, first one on the 17th, then remember on the 18th, I'm going to do that Christmas trees and stitching, please. So then the next one I'm going to do on the 19th is a collection, tra-la-la. And I have several little pictures that have mice at Christmas that are all dressed up, like at the tea party and, or the ones in the teacup, Christmas tea, I think is the name of it. And then there's 2 more that I've done, and I've got them framed in a series of 3. But I think this one would make a cute little flat fold or a flat ornament. And I won't even try to pronounce it. I know that's Noel, but I have no idea what the first word is. I just like it. And I found a scrap of fabric in my scrap. I have a bag, a clear hanging plastic bag that I put all my fabric in. I put most of the time when I can, I put 1 piece in each bag because it's a new piece. But when I have scraps, sometimes I'll just put several in there together. And I put light colors together and dark colors together and that sort of thing. So I pulled this one out today and I measured it and it will fit. So again, I get to use another scrap. Don't get rid of your scraps. Keep your scraps. That keeps you from buying another piece of fabric. It's great. The fabric is not inexpensive, you know. So that is what I'll be working on the 19th. Okay. While I was at Stitch North, I met a vendor there who had some of the cutest Christmas sweater ornaments, and I got one from her because my husband has always loved this little thing, the sock monkeys. And it's called the Nifty Nelson Ugly Sweater. I think it's precious. And so I'm going to be working on the ugly sweater on the 20th of July. That's my plan. Okay. Then on the 21st is the animals, the Christmas animals with the Christmas tree. On the 22nd is my December quilt. Now, this is where I'm at on the December quilt. I'm working my way to the end over here, and then I'll go back and work my way to the end here, and then I'll roll it up. But I've been concentrating on this side because it's short. It's a little bit shorter than this side. So that's what I've been doing, and I'll put some more stitches in that. So that's a whip. The other one I didn't pull out for you. I should have, but she's in a project bag, and I'd have to go dig her up. But it's Noel Angel, and it's the one I just started on retreat. And I need to put some more stitching in her because I've only done part of her head, and I need to get her going. And then I have a brand new piece that I want to work on. That's a Barbara Ann design. And I'm doing something a little different. So this is called Dancer, and you can see he's dark. He's got a dark body and dark antlers, and then you've got, highlighting or light colors on his ears and the leaves and flowers. And then he's got houses all up in his antlers, and some of those are light and some of those are dark. But they chose to put it on a very dark fabric. I hope you can see that okay. It's trying to rain here today. I don't have a really good light, but you see how dark that fabric is. So I pulled colors because I was curious as to what colors were being used. And here's the color palette. So there again are these rusty, orangey brown colors and browns and kind of a green gray. And so they're dark colors. And I thought if I put those on my darker fabric, I only got a couple of pieces of really dark fabric, they're going to disappear. And I don't particularly like it on this dark gray because to me, it looks like you can't see it. It looks like it's kind of hidden. So I took my colors and I pulled out another remnant, Wild Mint. This is what I stitched my 3 pairs on that were the green with the white stitching. So this is what's left of it. And it's enough for Dancer. And I think these colors are going to look really good on this green fabric. And I like the green better. It's a darker green, but I like it better than I would a dark gray for this. So I'm doing that on Wild Mint from Atomic Fabrics. And my plan is to stitch that, as I said, on the 24th, Christmas Eve. I think it's appropriate to stitch a reindeer on Christmas Eve, don't you? I didn't even plan it. It turned out that way, which is great. So there you go. Then on the 25th, I have another interesting piece to do that I have played with. I'm going to do differently than what is shown. This is a Sue Hillis. You know, I like Sue Hillis. I do quite a few Sue Hillis. There's my calculations. I do quite a few of her designs. I like them. I think she has a great aesthetic. However, having said that, I did not want to stitch all that white. I didn't want to do it. I don't mind stitching some of it, but I didn't want to do all of it. So I sat down and I looked at it and I thought, you know, there are distinctly 3 types of trees. There's this one with the snowflakes, this one with the poinsettia. Then these are snowflakes repeated. This is a poinsettia repeated. It's just white, where this one's red. And then they've got the branches with the birds. So you know where I'm going, don't you? I've decided I'm going to stitch 3 pieces. This one, and this one. And the order that I'm going to put them in is I'm going to do the poinsettia tree first. I'll do it first. Then I'm going to do the snowflake tree. And then I'm going to do the bird tree. No, I don't think so. Let me swap that out. I'm going to do the whitish solid white tree, the red in the middle, and the red and white on the side, so that this one will wind up in the middle, because I think the colors will be distributed better that way. So you'll have red sort of on each end, because this has red in the birds, and then the white one will be in the middle. That's how I determined what I'm going to do. Uh-oh. Sorry about that. My light needs to be charged. Let me turn that off. I hope you can still see. I think you can. Now, this fabric is a dark looking gray, and they're actually say it's raw linen. I wanted a dark color like that so that my white and red will pop on it, but I pulled cobblestone. And so this is a dark cobblestone. I bought it from 1-2-3 Stitch. And I am doing this, just the 3 trees. So I've calculated up how long it's going to be and how many spaces I need to put between them for them to fit, so that I can do just the 3 trees. And I even have picked a frame already. And that frame, this will fit in that frame. Changing the order on my notes so I don't mess that up again. Now, the other thing I did differently, instead of DMC, I went back to my sulky, because I think because I do have so much white stitching that's going to be going on for that piece. I pulled sulky because I don't have to do but 1 strand, and it'll be nice and thick enough. So I've got two spools of the white, because I think I'm gonna have a lot of it. I've got 2 shades of red that's is required for a lighter and darker shade. And then it's, you know, requires a black. And then the yellow for the beaks on those little birds. That's all the colors I needed. So I just grabbed my sulky and I did my own pairing. And that's how I'm going to do this one. So a little different than it's charted, but similar. And that one is, so that's the 25th. That's actually on Christmas. Then on the 26th, I do another animal, the little small animals that I showed you, the one with the presents. And the next one is Nativity Tiny Town. That's another whip. This is where I've gotten to on it so far. The last time you saw it, that's what it looked like. And so I will continue working on that one. And then I have a new one that came from Teresa Kogut's Patreon. And it's beautiful. And you know, my friend Cheryl collects Raggedy Anns. And so I'm always looking for something to do for her that has a Raggedy Ann in it. And this one just fit the bill. So this is Santa with Ann and Ted. And I have pulled the fabric to do that on. Is a beautiful vintage Stormy Night. It's got great movement in it. And I just think that'll be really, really pretty. It's a 32 count Lugana. It is, you know, one of those printed on one side fabrics. But I think it's going to look really pretty. And I have that one on. All of these are fully kitted, ready to go. Okay, so then after that, I haven't done another one of these in a while since I finished the last one. I took a break, but I do need to get back to my Dimensions kit, the one my son gifted to me, because I've done 3 now. I have actually done the one in front of the church. I've done the barn, and I've done the one with Santa on the house. So now I have to pick one of these 3 that I have left to get started. And I think I have decided which one I think I'm going to do. Noel's Bakery, which is this one in the middle right here. So I think that'll be fun. I'm going to start that one. And I'm hoping, maybe, depending on how much I get to stitch on it, I could finish it this year. And then I would only have 2 more. And maybe if I work really hard, I could finish those 2 next year and have my set. So I'm getting anxious to get my set. I would like to have my set. Okay, then on the 30th, I mentioned, is the last one of those little animals. This one's the Carolers. And then my last one for the 31st is a whip. And it is my Noel in blue. It's my last Noel in blue. It's the one with the log cabin. And you just saw this recently. And that's how far I got on it. So that will complete the set when I finish it. And that's my plan to finish it if I can. If I don't finish it on the 31st, it may be something that I work on until I finish it on the 1st. I don't know, but that one I would like to finish this year so that I have those 4 done. Because when my friend Donna finishes the Noel in Rouge, we're going to swap. And then she can do the blue and I can do the red. So those are my whips and new starts for July. Those are my plans. You know, anything can change. But that's what I'm hoping to do. I hope you saw something in there you liked. If you have, again, if you have it in your stash and you want to start it with me, that's why I went through giving you the dates. You don't have to start it the same day I do, but if you wanted to, you can. If you do, let me know. And also, if you have an opinion on some of the ones I'm doing that are quite different in the color schemes, if you want to give me advice on that or, you know, an opinion on that, I'm open to that. I'd like to hear it. If you like it, I'd really like to hear it. I like doing things a little different sometimes. It just keeps everything interesting for me. But thanks for letting me take so much of your time. This is a very long video, and I'll probably go ahead and add it to the little bit of stitching I've done this week and go ahead and pop it out there. Because if I wait too much longer to add things to it, it'll be so long you won't want to watch it. And I'd hate that. So anyway, I hope you're having a great week. We're headed into a great weekend. It's our stitching meetup this weekend, so I'm very excited about that. Well, whatever you're stitching on, whatever you're crafting on, have a great time with it. Enjoy it, and happy stitching, everybody.